Hey guys, welcome back to the Docs Lodge. Hope you guys are having a great start to your week. So last week I put out a video that was talking about using your 1, 4, and 5 chords to be able to play any chord in any key. And it occurred to me that not all of you may even know what that even means. What's 1, 4, 5, 6, all that stuff. So if that was you and my last video did not make any sense, I apologize. And hopefully this video here will clear some of that up for you, and then you can go back and it'll make a lot more sense. So all that stuff refers to the Nashville Number System. And I think it's a great tool. It's really helped me have a much better grasp on my understanding of harmony. And it's just a good tool to use as a shortcut and just help you think less. I'm all for thinking less, and I'm sure you are too. And this will help you do that. It can help you do anything from memorize songs more easily to transposing songs on the spot and just solidifying what you already understand of harmony and music in general. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so the first thing we need to do in order to understand this is to realize that the foundation of the Nashville Number System is the major scale. In fact, the foundation for almost the entirety of Western music is the major scale. It doesn't matter what genre of music you listen to, it could sound completely different from another one, but chances are that it's all derived from the major scale. Simple as that. And worship music is no exception. So let's look at the major scale. Let's pick the key of G. G is a nice, good guitar-friendly key. We all like the key of G. So we're going to use that as our basis. And let's go through the scale. So we've got G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. And then once we get to the next note, which is G, that completes the octave and the notes start repeating themselves. So there's 7 notes in the scale. So each note that we went through, A, B, C, all that stuff, each note comes with its own chord. Chords can be constructed using those notes as the roots. So we're going to go back and do that scale again, this time using chords instead of single notes. So here we go. Here's G, A minor, B minor, C, D, E minor, F sharp diminished, and that's all 7 chords in the key. If you look below the chord names, you'll see that they each correspond with a Roman numeral. Take a second to look at it. Notice that all of the major chords are indicated with uppercase letters. All the minor chords plus the diminished chord at the very end are all lowercase. Now I wouldn't worry too much about that diminished chord. I doubt you'll ever see that in a chart. So just disregard it. We're not even going to touch on that. We're just going to work with major and minor. So let's take a common chord progression. Say G, C, D. We've all played that before. Now if we were going to indicate that with the Nashville system, we would write it as 1, 4, and 5. So you can take any chord progression that you've ever done in a key and represent that with these Roman numerals, and you can kind of start to see patterns emerge. So let's take another chord progression. A really common one that you see in worship songs is 1, 5, 6, 4. So don't let that scare you. It's really easy. All it is G, D, E minor, and C. That's stuff we hear all the time. And as you start to put names to these kinds of progressions, you can kind of think of certain songs like, oh, I've heard that before. A lot of the stuff you probably already know just from hearing it, you just haven't put a name to it. The most obvious use for this system is that it can help you whenever transposing to another key. We've all been in situations where we've played a song in one key, but maybe another worship leader comes and sings a song and they would rather sing it lower or sing it higher. And so then we've got to change keys. If you're not familiar with the number system, this can often feel like learning an entirely different song. You've got to learn a whole new set of keys. You got to know all these positions on the neck and everything. But using the number system can really take a lot of that mental work away and can become a really good shortcut in helping you adapt to the new key. So let's say that you're doing a worship song and you've always played it in the key of G. And for our chord progression, we'll just start with 1, 4, 5. G, C, and D. Let's say you have a worship leader or a singer come in and that's just not a good key for them. Let's say, let's take it up to A. So let's think of the key of A. Let's look at all the notes that are in the A scale, all the chords that come with that. So look at your 1. What's 1 in the key of A? It would be A. Find your 4, and that would be D. And your 5 would be E. So are you still lost? Are you still kind of trying to catch up here? Well, another way that can help you understand this is voicing your chords using bar chords. Because these open position chords, you can't really take them up the neck and use them in the same way. But we can with bar chords, stuff like this. You can take that anywhere. So let's take that same chord progression in G, 1, 4, 5, using bar chords. So we've got G, 1, C, 4, and D, which is 5. Now let's take this exact same thing and transpose it to A. So now we've got 1 over here, 4, and 5. So does that make more sense? So you can actually see the difference whenever you're using bar chords, because you're taking the exact same shapes but just transposing it. You're moving everything up by 2 frets, a whole step. That's the difference from G to A. And whenever you're using these traditional chords over here, they don't really give you a whole lot of context in terms of how high or how low they are. But the bar chord thing can really help you, because you can kind of see the movement there going on. And you can do the same thing with any chord progression. So let's say you were in the key of G and your progression went like this. Very common chord progression in worship. Alright, so we're going to take that exact same chord progression and do it in D. Whoa, that's a further ways than A. It's no problem. We can apply the exact same things that we learned in one key to a key that's far away. So just as an exercise, I'm going to play this chord progression in D. I'll let you know that it starts out with the 1 chord, so that'll give you a little bit of a head start there. And I want to see if you can keep up and play each chord, transposing it in your mind using this concept. So let's start this together. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, go. How'd you do there? If you didn't get it right away, that's okay. It takes a little bit of practice to get used to thinking this way, but I guarantee you it can really take your musical understanding to the next level. This system really helps with song memorization. Instead of having to think of each individual chord, well, I go from this chord to that chord to that chord. That's just a lot of work that you really don't need to be doing. Just expedite the process by saying 1, 4, 5 in the key of E, or in the key of C, in the key of F, whatever you want to be in. You'll see some common patterns start to emerge, like 1, 5, 6, 4. If you know what that is in the key of G, then you can easily play that without having to think of all the individual chords that are involved. Or let's say you have 1, 4, 5, 6. that expedites that process. Or let's say you start on a different chord other than 1, like this. So there you have a 5, 6, 4, 1. You've heard all these chords in many different songs, so you can start to recognize these patterns, recognize these tendencies, these trends that are very consistent from song to song, and that can really help you memorize different songs, even if you're not changing keys. It can really help solidify that under your hands. And then whenever you do start to transpose, you don't need to start thinking in different chords. Just start thinking in the same thing, but just applying it to a different key. And then you'll be all set. Well, I hope this video helped you get a good understanding of how the Nashville system works and how you can apply it in your own playing. There's just so much to think about in this life that we don't need to be hurting our brains by thinking too hard about this stuff. The Nashville system really works and can really help you gain a much better understanding of harmony and give you a lot less to think about. It's easier to worship when we're not having to think as hard. So hopefully this will help you do just that. Well, did this video help you out? If it did, be sure to hit subscribe and give a thumbs up. Click on the bell icon so you can receive more notifications about whenever this channel releases a new video. Well, you guys take care, and we'll see you back here next time at the Doc's Lodge. Lord bless.